It has always seemed to me that opening the front door is analogous to stepping out onto the stage, and frankly, both terrify me. I'm not afraid of being outside, of being on stage. Rather, it's the going outside, the going on stage that scares me. That moment before the door opens, before the curtains part, that instant in the darkness, only a second, but long enough to flood me with every available diabolic misapprehension. That's where terror lies. In this interstice, I become so aware of my own existence that I almost pull myself out of being. I'm rendered only as an overdressed bundle of what-ifs, no longer a living person. This anxiety doesn't prevent me from going out, going on, of course not. But it does make me acutely aware each and every time that I'm crossing the threshold. But now everyone is afraid to go out. If not actively terrified, they're at least cognizant that going outside could be dangerous, could impact their safety. And surely no one right now can walk down the street without noticing that each mother they pass too close by clutches their child and visibly recoils, or without feeling the excoriating gaze of strangers, half-cocked, and assessing the level of threat they might pose to the existing order. These petty humiliations were once reserved for the visibly different, but not no more. We're all vectors now. Today we are all pathogenic agents. But look on the bright side. Perhaps the pandemic has made us all queer. I am a performer who is extremely ambivalent about being seen by audiences, both formal, on stage, and informal, in the street. Yet I realize how much I have come to rely on them both, much more than I knew. In The Argonauts, Maggie Nelson writes out the unhappy equation, visibility equals discipline, and I myself recognize, from this isolated vantage point, that I have unwittingly bent to this corrective kiss. When I know I will be seen, I demand of myself that I play the role to the hilt. At home I feel fake if I'm not fully created, fully done, but without an audience to motivate me, how can I get myself ready? Is it really worth it? I feel I'm getting ready for someone, yes, but whom? Myself as other people see me? Worse, I fear I might be getting ready for the invisible transphobe, the misogynist within, who insists that women and trans-feminine people, especially trans-feminine people, must look like Margot Robbie in The Wolf of Wall Street at all times. Yes, I recognize that I'm in my own audience here, and sometimes I realize that I'm lip-syncing to my own voice. The misogynist within hypersexualizes and desexualizes. His gaze permits trans and gender non-conforming bodies as only ever one of two things: clowns or sluts, either or, laughable or corrupting, usable objects when successful, targets of violent derision when not. Under his gaze, against it, I have tried to find agency in being the architect of a specific aesthetic, one which foregrounds femininity, but avoids anything which seems to perform too hard, one which allows for sexuality, but doesn't invite a pornographic interaction from passers-by. It's hard enough putting all of this into sartorial practice, but when you consider having to work the mask and the gloves into the look, well, you'll understand why I find it so difficult to leave the house before 1 p.m. This chosen aesthetic stages financial elegance as it stages femininity, both of which I was barred from at birth. Moreover, it enacts the movement from and to rather than the end destination. I'm not signaling that I'm a woman, but I am signaling that you shouldn't call me he. I think I'm saying that I need to be seen as not a woman in order to be seen as not a man. Right now, the theatre of social performance is, if not entirely shuttered, at least running a more limited program. In a reflective society, where we see ourselves through other people, in other people, without other people, how can we see ourselves? Not long ago, going out meant going out on the lash, tiles, raz, town. It had connotations of seeing and being seen, but now it's something more literal, i.e. going out of the house. The designated daily walk in the park becomes a chapter from a 19th century novel, a turn in the bois, where all the shaded ladies of the premier families take a trot in their carriage, to parade their wealth and leisure, to express their dominance and subtly cold shoulder uninvited social interactions. My daily turn around the park is sadly lacking in barouches, though sometimes I do see a couple of bored kids climbing into an abandoned shopping trolley. Otherwise it's a sea of Michael Jackson impersonators, gloves, mask, cap, voices muffled, expressions concealed, remaining at a safe social distance. But something central to my understanding of myself, of my being trans, gender non-conforming, disappears without the scrutiny of my uninvited audience. I need my fans, and my fans need me. They need me as the exception to the rule, and I need them to bear witness to how real the exceptional is. Without my antagonistic audience, how do I know that I exist? I require that the people in the park watch me break the rules in order to prove that there are no rules. And I require those wonderful people out there in the dark to watch me perform, to know that this is entirely natural. And so we are in a deadlock, my onlookers and I, posing the inevitable question, have I created an audience for myself, or has an audience created me?